Well, markets have been rallying to record highs. Take a look at yesterday's performance. The Dow Industrials topped 19,000. First time ever. Joining us right now is S&P Global Market Intelligence Senior Director Richard Peterson. Rich, good to see you.
Morning,
so
Maria.
the election of Trump has investors shifting to small cap, large cap. You think it continues?
Actually, investors are gobbling up stocks over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, Rich.
So you done that?
Before we
Gobble,
inject
gobble.
I get it, because Thanksgiving.
And no turkeys.
All right, so what do you
Obviously,
think?
we're up. The S&P is up about 3% in the past 2 weeks. But more impressively has been the mid caps and the small caps. For example, the Russell 2000 is up over 11% in the past 2 weeks. Been up 12 consecutive sessions. Hasn't happened in 20 years. Now, there's good news and some bad news. The good news is that if you look how the composition of the House and the Senators, both Republicans, historically, Republicans, when they control both houses, the annual rate of return is about 12%, compared to about maybe under 8% of annual return when the Democrats control both houses. The other side of it is that every president since Teddy Roosevelt in their first term has experienced a recession in their first term. So.
You had to be Debbie Downer. You had to be Debbie Downer.
So, first of all, Rich, how much of this do you think was positioning pre-election? Because we had this streak of 10 days in a row down in the S&P right before Election Day. How much do you think this was people that were underinvested or even short, you positioned short here, that's contributing to this rally?
Well, obviously, all the uncertainty of who was going to win has been resolved. We know what we know what the composition of the administration is, that the House is, the Senate is. So what the market is expecting? You know, a cut in taxes, changes in Dodd-Frank, changes in the Obamacare, maybe an expansion in energy activity. So there's a lot of things that we're looking for. It's a matter of, when does it take place? I mean, my interest, and I've been trying to find this out, was, if they pass the tax cut in the first quarter of 2017, does it become retroactive to January 1st?
Yeah, it does. It becomes retroactive, January 1. Yeah. If they pass it, it will be retroactive for January 1.
Well, that would be exciting, and a lot of people now are talking about 4 to 5% growth next year if Trump's able to push all those programs and deregulation through.
Steve Forbes sat on this set this week. He said 6%.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Steve saying 6%.
And we haven't seen above 3% since I think the first quarter of George Bush's second term, since 2005.
Sure. But how do you counterbalance that with some warnings coming from the Democratic side, talking about how trade may not be so easily maybe impacted here if Trump's trying to strike new deals, maybe everything's not going to go through deregulation, he may face some opposition.
Well, I think one risk is obviously the steepening of the yield curve. The fact that the 10-year yield has gone up about 40 bips in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, Dagen's been talking about that.
2.3.
Where's the yield right now, Dagen?
It closed at 2.31 yesterday.
Right. So obviously that's going to help the banks as the yield curve steeps. But the fact that you're expecting a Fed rate hike next month, the stimulus that we're expecting from fiscal activity may be dampened by higher rates.
How expensive are small caps right now? Price for just perfect Washington?
Yeah, I mean, not even small caps. You even look at the S&P 500, the forward P is about 18. Again, we're at elevated levels.
Right.
Now, the fact is, if you get earnings at, say, $140 per share for the S&P next year at an 18 multiple, that's about $2,500. So there's a little bit of room up, but you're coming from $2,200, so you're looking maybe a 7% increase in 2017.
John Spallanzani was on earlier. He said this rally continues until the inauguration. I don't know what you think about it. Would you buy into this market here after this huge run-up, or you want to just hold back for a minute?
Well, I mean, I said all trees don't rise to heaven forever.
Right.
I think, obviously, there may be some pause. You talked about deal activity earlier. Typically from post-election to year-end, deal activity sort of tapers off as, bankers look ahead for the forward year.
Wait, before you go, recession you mentioned earlier. I mean, he's talking about tax cuts. He's talking about rolling back regulation and growth, moving the needle on economic growth. You're talking about recession.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was looking at, as a colleague of mine would say, is a guide, not gospel. The fact is that There could be exogenous factors that can happen. We've been in a growth period since June of 2009. So this expansion, anemic as it may be to some, has been going on for several years.
All right, we'll leave it there. Rich, good to see you.
Happy
Thanks
holidays,
so much.
Bill.
And to you, Richard Peterson, joining us there. Coming up, New York police step up security ahead of the Thanksgiving Day parade. The plan to protect the crowds after worries of a terrorist attack. Plus